was that? I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure that was a Bigfoot. Let me tell you a story. Now, this story came to me fireside at a camp along the Appalachian Trail in Georgia. We'd been working the trail on horseback for about 3 nights when I asked my usual question, has anyone here seen a Bigfoot? And Bill, one of the horse hands, kind of lowered his gaze into the fire and told us this story. I've been working as a horse ranch hand for a few years before I came to work here. We spent most of our time on week-long camping adventures based out of the Appalachian Trail here and there. We had set out for a 10-day ride with a group of 14 people, 10 campers, 2 guides, and 2 handlers. And it was early June and the snow was gone and the local resources were coming into bloom, so it was the best of times and, well, the most unsafe of times to be on the trail with slickers. But it was going to be an epic trip. Well, the first 2 days were not very eventful. We traveled about 20 miles each day before stopping to set up camp for the night. It wasn't until the 3rd afternoon at breakdown that I got the first real weird feeling of being watched. Well, the hands, they take care of the horses, and we got them tied down for the night and fed, and we do a predator watch around the camp to make sure that it was not right in the middle of a game trail or such. Randy, the other hand, called me over to look at some really big tracks on the lower trail near camp. They had to be at least 18 inches long and 9 inches wide. Looked like a barefoot man. There were plenty of hippies and natives that used the trail, but this was one big sucker, that's for sure. Well, we followed the tracks for a bit, but they seemed to lead right down an impossible bank. But sure enough, that's where they went, so we decided to head back up to camp and get a good watch tonight. The camp got themselves fed and had gathered around the fire talking and singing, and that's when it all kind of started. Just as the fire got quiet for something, 30 yards away let out some sort of a call. It sounded like a monkey at the zoo, like a soft whoop came from the background. Several people heard it and got up from the fire to investigate. I lit up my flashlight and I pointed it towards the noise, but there was nothing there. We all returned back to the fire for a bit. About an hour had passed and one of the girls asked, "Hey, who threw a rock at me?" She said there'd been struck in the back with a rock, but when we looked behind her, there was no one there. All of the campers were accounted for around the fire, and none of the staff would do such a thing. Something strange was definitely going on. In the very next moment, the horses began to stir, and that was very odd for these horses, as they'd been on this trail every 2 weeks for years. They knew the routine, so I went to go check it out. Sure enough, on the outside edge of the rope corral, there were some more of those big bear tracks. So I whistled for Randy to come over and join me. Well, Randy jogged over with his shotgun and his big light, and we started to follow those tracks once again. Well, this time they led right up to the base of a big tree. And when we shined the light up in the tree, well, we lit up a very strange-looking creature, the likes that we had never seen before. Randy grasped for air. I mean, it took note of this thing was 8 feet up in the air, already on a sturdy branch, so it was tough to say how tall it was. But it really looked big even up in the tree. All covered with hair from feet to its chest, and it got kind of thin like a gorilla would seem, but then hairy back all through the face, like a fully bearded wild man. Well, it let out a blood-curdling howl loud enough to make the camper scream, and Randy rang out with the shotgun with both barrels, high up in the air to scare the beast off. It jumped down to the limb, and it was on. It came running straight for us. Randy had blown both barrels, so there was no ammo left in the gun. It turned so quick, I nearly missed where it went. And again, it went bounding down an impossible-to-climb embankment on the ridge. The campers were all really shaken up, but they hadn't seen the beast, and Randy and I thought better than to tell them what was actually out there, or we'd be making tracks back to camp, and it didn't work out so well to go to the farm in the dark carrying this many people. So we told them it was a bear, and assured them it wouldn't be back. Well, Randy and I stood watch the rest of the night, and at first light we began packing up camp as to move on as fast as we might. The end of the trail was a pickup point, so we still had 7 more nights to reach it. Everyone arose and was excited to pack up and move on, as they mostly ate a dry breakfast, and we mounted up and moved on. The rest of the trip went on uninterrupted by the creature, but Randy and I didn't sleep much at night until we got back to the ranch. Well, it seems you never can tell what you might find in the deep, dark woods when you least expect it. Bigfoot in the trees? That's a game changer. Thanks for listening. I'm Reverend Jeff, and may the Squatch be with you.